Hey guys, John Jr. here, bringing you guys another Draft League video. Today, I'm bringing you guys APA Reunion Week 3 against Hugo. Moving into this week, we are undefeated, but before we get into that, I do want to mention something really quickly. My last video, my video with Torterra, Week 2, did really well. 400 views and counting, when I only expected maybe 50, so I really thank you for that. However, did you know that only 25% of my viewers are subscribed to the channel, as shown by the statistic on the screen, if I'm not lazy? You can help this number balance out right now by going down there and making sure you are subscribed to the channel. It helps out not only me, but also it helps these videos get pushed out, and that is what is important at the end of the day. You want everybody to see these videos, right? These are awesome. So be sure, if you're not subscribed already, scroll down there, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I want at least 50% people watching this video subscribe when I check the statistics in a week. But thank you guys so much if you did subscribe. I really appreciate it. Moving back to the matter at hand, APA Reunion Week 3 against Hugo. We are currently 2-0 moving into this week. Like I said, we need a 1 win this season, very important, because we get to win an APA hoodie if we do that. And 2, I want an undefeated season, really badly. Not only do I not have a championship in Gen 8, because I really lacked playing a lot of leagues, in any finals I made I choked, but an undefeated championship would really top off Gen 8, which by the way, next week is when Scarlet and Violet comes out, so to mitigate that, I'm going to upload week 4 on Thursday, which will probably mess with views a little bit, but it's not going to get literally any views if I upload it next Sunday, so look out for that next Thursday? Did I say Thursday? Next Thursday, the day before Scarlet and Violet. Now, let's go ahead and move into the match. Looking at the matchup, Hugo ended up bringing a Snorlax, Golurk, Manaphy, Infernape, Clefable, and Amoonguss. The only thing that he did not bring that I thought did really well against my team for the most part was Mega Ampharos, but I can definitely see why he didn't bring it because I have 2 Fairy types and Garchomp. But it didn't get OHKO by any of those things, except for, I guess, Mawile, and it did a lot of damage or OHKO this Pokemon back. So, a little shocked not to see it, but the 6 that he brought definitely makes sense. There's one Pokemon out of the 6 that he brought that I was immensely scared of, and that is going to be Manaphy. A Calm and Rest 2-attack Manaphy really did me dirty, and I had to play around it kind of weird with Coco Terrain. Looking at matchup, didn't know if he'd bring Rest because of that, but if he did, based on the team that I brought, which we'll go into in a second, it did really well. So his Dark type was Hoop Unbound, which I never ever thought was coming because I have 2 Fairy types in Coco and Mawile, both of which just destroy that Pokemon. He has to run not only Dark Stab, but he has to run Fire Punch for Mawile, Gunk Shot for Coco, or Poison Jab if he gets that, and then he needs like Earthquake to hit the majority of my team, and even then he's walled by like Buzzwole. So he really had really bad 4 moveset syndrome, and because Fire Punch doesn't really hit Buzzwole, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I thought he had really bad 4 moveset syndrome. I thought that wasn't coming, and basically the reason I'm saying that is I am dual dance Coco. I am Iron Defense, Calm Mind, Stored Power Roost, because I really didn't think that would come. I really didn't think he would be unaware Clefable coming in this matchup. He could, it was possible, but I wanted to scout that out before I tried setting up with Coco. So with that in mind, that is the win con. We also have Mega Mawile. We have just 4 attack Mega Mawile. I believe we're Play Rough, Knockoff, Sucker Punch, and Psychic Fangs for the Amoonguss. We are SD, Scale Shot, Stealth Rock, and Earthquake on our Garchomp with Rocky Helmet. He does not have a ground resist on his team, if I'm remembering correctly. I think it is just Amoonguss. So this Pokemon could also be a really good late game win con, but we are also Rocky, so we can take advantage of that Infernape. We are Drapion because it's supposed to be here to help with taunting like the Manaphy as well as the Snorlax, but it's here to offensively pressure the Clefable. We're Taunt, we're X-Scissor just in case he did end up bringing the Hoop Unbound, which this was also for, by the way. We're Poison Jab, and then I think we are Toxic Spikes in case he didn't bring Amoonguss, because I wasn't for sure he was going to bring Amoonguss. If anything, that last slot was Hoop Unbound instead of Amoonguss. The next up, we are Roost 3-attack Buzzwole, we are Close Combat, Ice Punch, and Poison Jab, and we are rocking the Aqua Berry so we can take a hit from that Infernape and catch it off guard and do some big damage to it. There was also another Pokemon that could have a fire move, I think, on his team that I can't remember off the top of my head. No, it was just for Infernape. Okay, it was just to catch the Infernape off guard, I guess. And then my last mon, I bounced back and forth a lot between this Pokemon. It was at one point Starmie. For a long time it was Starmie, but I ended up changing it to Volcanion. We are Rest Talk because of the Coco set. I feel like Rest Talk is pretty safe this week. And we are Toxic, so we can be something like the Manaphy. And then we're Mono Liquidation, that way we don't get walled by Infernape. So the only problem with this set is it is walled by the Amoonguss, but we are Sleep Talk, so it's a little weird. I don't think he's going to bring Spore Amoonguss into Electric Terrain anyway. If he does, that's a weird bring. But anyway, looking at the leads here. So guaranteed, if he brought Infernape, I was always leading Garchomp. Garchomp was here specifically for that Infernape. So right here, we are going to go ahead and lead the Garchomp as he leads Infernape. I want to go ahead and get my rocks up as we go ahead and trade rocks here. He's going to miss an Overheat, not super important. And I'm going to Earthquake, and he is Sash. So something to note here, he is Endeavor. If I would have ever thought that he was Sash Endeavor, which didn't cross my mind for some reason, I probably would have SD'd turn 1 and then Scale Shot the following turn, and then if he wasn't unaware Clefable, Garchomp just went crazy, which is something that I should have done, but hindsight's 2020. I think I would have just won the game if I just SD'd, maybe SD'd twice because of the Clefable. But hindsight's 2020. We're gonna go ahead and Earthquake. We're gonna bring him down to Sash, as he's gonna go ahead and go for the Endeavor. I'm just gonna kill this Pokemon with Rough Skin. Did I SD? I didn't SD. So he's gonna go ahead and send in Amoonguss. I'm gonna go ahead and sack off Garchomp. I don't have any way to remove the rock, so Garchomp's dead. He's gonna get good drain. Goodbye, dog. You did really well. Did what he needed to do and we got Rock Stop. So we're gonna go ahead and send in Mawile here and throw off a Psychic Fangs because it does big damage to anything. And based on this damage to this Golurk right here, we are actually gonna know that he's very offensive, potentially banded, but he's at least no bulk. Like, we got like a very high roll for a no bulk Golurk. So we are gonna go ahead and go into Buzzwole. Buzzwoles are guaranteed check to this Pokemon, as we're gonna take that Earthquake and we're gonna go ahead and throw off an Ice Punch. It covers the Golurk as well as the Amoonguss switch in. If it goes into Clefable, that's fine. I have something like Drapion, Mawile, or Volcanion. I go Volcanion as he clicks Stun Spore, which is fine. We're gonna go ahead and throw off a Toxic because I did not expect him to stay in with his Amoonguss on my Volcanion, and if he did for whatever reason decide to stay in and Stun Spore again, I'm Rest Talk and I can just rest that off and be fine. I really expected the Snorlax to come in on this. Really confused by the Stun Spore, but it is what it is. He's gonna go ahead and get that para off here, as I'm gonna double Toxic. He has to go Snorlax at some point. Amoonguss just does not beat Volcanion. As I get that Toxic off, and we're going to go ahead and switch into Buzzwole, which should wall this until the end of time. He's going to throw a Curse off, and I do believe I'm not super scared of this, so I actually roost in his face, if I remember correctly here. Yes, I roost in his face as he goes Amoonguss, and I think I just go right back into Volcanion here, see what he uses, which he actually uses Spore. So he is Stun Spore, he is Stun Spore and Spore in Electric Terrain, which is a super weird bring in my opinion. So he's Sludge Bomb, Giga Drain, dual status, which is super weird. Don't really agree with the Spore bring necessarily, but we're going to go ahead and fire off a Liquidation here, as I believe this following turn I am going to rest as I expect him to attack. He goes into Manaphy. Oh no, I actually go Mawile. So I went Mawile because his play there was like Giga Drain or Sludge Bomb. He wouldn't Spore on the Volcanion, and Mawile catches the potential Clefable that he could send in on the Volcanion now that he knows my set, or it could get some big damage on the Manaphy, prevent the Manaphy from setting up. So he's actually going to go into Manaphy. He's going to throw off a Scald. I'm just going to attack this thing, get a big play rough off, and the biggest threat to our team is now Chipped. I was willing to risk the Scald burn because Mawile is here specifically just to break, and even if I just get this Pokemon down to 50%, find out a little bit about his set, that's very vital information. Willing to sack this Pokemon for that. So we do go ahead and get him super low as he goes into a Amoonguss here. I'm going to double back into a Volcanion, trying to scout out a little bit more of the Manaphy set. Didn't want to let my Mawile just straight up die. We're going to go ahead and rest on the Amoonguss here as he goes Snorlax, and again, I go Buzzwole on this until the end of time, as he is going to actually double Clefable, good double on his part, and I go Drapion, because Drapion's kind of here just for this now, since there's no Hoop on Bound. So we're going to see there that he is, like, modest Life Orb, max special attack Clefable, which I think he's modest. It was either a high roll or he was modest, so super scary. He can actually kill me there, so I'm going to double Mawile, hoping that he thinks I'm faster or something. Maybe I can catch something, or just sacking the Mawile, as we're actually going to go ahead and catch the Amoonguss here, and Mawile is able to fire off a free Iron Head because nothing resisted. Why did I not Psychic Fangs? I guess I Iron Headed in case he stayed in, and I got the flinch. I guess it really didn't matter right there, but he's going to go ahead and Spore, and Mawile is going to be asleep. I'm going to burn a turn of sleep here as he goes Snorlax. Again, Buzzwole comes in on this Pokemon every single time, as we are going to see that he goes ahead and doubles back out into Manaphy. Now what I should have done is I should have just attacked that Manaphy straight up, but he is going to go ahead and just Calm Mind, because I was so scared of Manaphy, but I was a little bit worried about Buzzwole getting any amount of chip. But he's going to go ahead and fire off the Ancient Power on Volcanion, which is something that I did not expect. I expected Scald, some move, probably Energy Ball, Calm Mind, and Rest, but I did not expect Ancient Power, so my Volcanion was absolutely useless this game. He was supposed to check this Manaphy, but instead, here we are as he's going to go ahead and die. He's going to Calm Mind up again. We're going to get that Toxic off, though, so if he's not Rest, we actually do beat this Pokemon in the grand scheme of things. He's going to go ahead and Ancient Power, and I'm going to make a big play here. So, Tapu Koko is my win con, right? And at this point in the game, it should not win, realistically, unless he lets me get set up pretty heavily. It does not win. It lives a Banded Earthquake from Golurk at +2, and if I get to, I think, +2, +1, so a Calm Mind and an Iron Defense, it has a roll to kill a no-bulk Clefable, which I do believe he is at this point in the match. So I decide I have nothing else to pressure this Pokemon. This Pokemon either claims kill, rests, or I pressure it out with Koko. So I think at this point in the game, my best play is to go Koko and Iron Defense, I think is what I do, as he potentially goes Golurk there. I actually Calm Mind, and then next turn I Iron Defense, because now I can live an Earthquake from him, and he doesn't have any priority on his team. So if I get this Iron Defense off, I win the game, because I do believe this Clefable dies, since he is Magic Guard no bulk. I do believe he dies, or it's a roll to kill him, as I'm going to get this Iron Defense, or I can Roost in his face. It's one of the two, but you see here, he's going to crit. I think that's the second week in a row Koko is going to win the game and then gets crit, so good night Tapu Koko, as I realistically do not have the tools to win this game. I should never win this game now. I lost Koko, I lost my win con, I lost Garchomp way too early, and now I have 3 slow Pokemon. Very scary Clefable on the other side of the team. I don't have ways to pressure the Manaphy and things like that. Like, I'm in a really, really bad spot. So I'm gonna go Buzzwole here. He's very obviously gonna go Amoonguss, and I can't really do a whole lot about that. So I'm just gonna get a Roost. I'm gonna try to keep Buzzwole healthy because Buzzwole's kind of the key to win this game at this point. I'm gonna go Mawile. Mawile walls this Amoonguss forever and try to burn a sleep turn here, as I am able to burn the sleep turn, and we're gonna go ahead and knock out the Manaphy. So we're making a little bit of progress here. He goes into Clefable. At this point, I'm gonna try to sack Buzzwole, but he clicks Fire Blast, so the Aqua Berry comes in clutch as he's gonna go into Amoonguss. I'm gonna Poison Jab. I was hoping to get a little bit of damage on the Clefable, but it is what it is. I'm gonna Ice Punch at this point in the game. I'm just kind of like, okay, there's not really a whole lot I could do. I could go Mawile, but he's going to Spore here, so I kind of want Buzzwole to be the one to fall asleep, as he actually clicks Stun Spore, expecting my Mawile to come in. So I'm like, okay, well, if that's the case, I'm just going to stay in again and Ice Punch again, as he also Stun Spores a second time and misses. So at this point, I'm then actually coming back a little bit because of those misses, which justice for that Coco crit in my opinion. But I Poison Jab, I killed the Golurk, I Roost on the Golurk because he does not do enough damage to me to where this doesn't, I can't speak. I Roost on the Golurk because I out-Roost the Golurk's damage there because this is my check to Golurk. He's gonna go back into Amoonguss, same thing, same thought process. In case he Spores, I Ice Punch, but we actually get a high roll and we end up killing that Amoonguss. He's gonna go into Clefable. Could have done that the whole time. He's very max speed Clefable. I was a very slow Buzzwole, so he might have had to be timid. I actually don't remember. He was timid or modest, no bulk, but he outspent my Buzzwole, so I go Drapion in a hope that I can pressure him out. So the thought process there was I go Drapion, I get a Poison Jab on Clefable. Now that I know that he outspent my Buzzwole, I know for a fact my Mawile doesn't kill. So this is my only play. I have to go Drapion, get a crit Poison Jab, and Sucker Punch with Mawile, but he switches out, which is actually a very interesting play. He basically gives me Snorlax for free. As you can see here, he goes Snorlax, I Poison Jab, and if he Earthquakes, if he has Earthquake, the game's over. There's nothing I can do. I have to go hard Mawile because I don't kill from here, and hope that for whatever reason he doesn't have Earthquake, which he doesn't, as Mawile lives that hit, and Mawile picks up a KO now. So I'm going to go ahead, Iron Head, goodbye Snorlax, in comes the Clefable, I Sucker Punch to get some chip off, and then if he is in fact no bulk Clefable, Drapion has a pretty good roll to kill here. I didn't even need the crit. I don't know what I was talking about earlier. Drapion comes in, we're able to secure the game. Hectic game. Very, very hectic game. Coco, unfortunate that you didn't get to do what you're supposed to do 2 weeks in a row, and that is unfortunately probably going to be a trend this season, but we're going to be able to pull it out there because Drapion is fast, 95 speed for whatever reason. I don't know. That was a very hectic game, very haxy game, not my favorite game, but we got it done and we're 3-0 on the season. So with that being said, good game to Hugo. Make sure to check out my last week's match up in the top right hand corner right now. And again, be sure to subscribe if you have not already, so you can continue watching these in the future. Only 25% of my viewers are subscribed right now. Let's go ahead and raise that number a little bit. But thank you guys so much for watching. And for now guys, this has been John Jr. signing off.